Hello and welcome to the Los Angeles Autoshow, where two brands are absolutely owning the show. And it isn't American brands like you might imagine, Tesla or Ford. It's Korean brands, Kia and Hyundai. And it's actually their 7-seat family cars which are grabbing the headlines. So Kia is taking family driving up a notch with the EV9 GT, which has got stacks of performance. And Hyundai, well, they've launched their own version of that car, the Ioniq 9, which I have managed to get a first drive of here in Los Angeles. That's coming a bit later. But before we get started, please do subscribe to the channel and switch your notifications on, because if you're into electric cars, this is the channel for you. As I said, we've got some early driving impressions of the Ioniq 9 coming shortly, but first I want to talk about this. So this is the Kia EV9 GT. It is a high-performance version of the 6 or 7-seat family car, and it gets a 122 horsepower boost over the EV9 GT line. So it's driven by dual electric motors. You've got a 160 kilowatt motor in the front and a 270 kilowatt motor at the rear. Together they produce just over 500 horsepower. 0 to 60, they're aiming for around 4.3 seconds. Quite speedy for something of this size and weight. It also gets Kia's electronically controlled suspension. That's a first in one of its SUVs, and that automatically adjusts the shock absorbers, the damping, the steering, the braking and the steering to suit the conditions, whilst an electronic limited slip differential sends all the torque to the tyres with the most grip when you're cornering, which does sound quite fun, doesn't it? Like the Ioniq 5N from Kia's sister company, the EV9 GT will now get a virtual gear shifter that simulates the feel of a traditional step shift automatic transmission, complete with fake engine noises. As with the Ioniq 5N, you'll also feel noticeable shifts as the EV9 accelerates. Paddles on either side of the steering wheel will allow you to manually shift through the gears, whilst active sound design works alongside the fake system to pump the sound of gears shifting as the car accelerates. It's a system we think delivers a lot of fun in the Ioniq 5N. From the outside, not really any different to the standard model until you look down here and you get these massive 21-inch wheels with Continental tyres and, of course, the neon brake calipers, the GT calipers that we saw for the first time on the Kia EV6 GT. Inside, once again, not massively different to the standard version. What you do get are these sort of little colourful accents, this neon colour like yellowy green here on the steering wheel. You've got accents here on the seats, and I really like the stitching done in that colour. Sport seats, of course, nice and snug. And this is the best bit. It's a GT button. When you press that, it stiffens up the suspension for maximum performance. Yeah, it's going to go on sale 2025 in the UK. Pricing, it will be big, like its size. I expect it to be around £80,000. The updated EV6 was also on Kia's stand, and we'll have a full first look video of that coming to the channel soon. Are we even in Los Angeles if we don't talk about Tesla? I think not, so I better do that now. And look, the Cybercab, which doesn't look real, does it? It looks great though, actually. I think it looks really cool. But it does look as if it's just driven off a lot over in Hollywood from a movie that it's been in. Anyway, as you will see, there is no steering wheel, because it doesn't need one because it's autonomous. You just get that massive 20.5-inch screen which controls all the car's functions. So lovely butterfly doors that open up, 2 seats, 2 cup holders, any colour as long as it's black. And there is loads and loads of room in here. So you can see the front half is given to passenger space. The rear tailgate, well, that lifts up, and there is a cavernous space in there. It will fit in suitcases, a bicycle. According to our friend Elon, this is the future of taxis. Apparently, it's going on sale in 2027, and it will cost 23,000 of our British pounds. But don't hold your breath. How about that for a warranty? 10-year, 125,000 miles, 10-year unlimited miles battery warranty. That's from VinFast, who are a Vietnamese car maker. This is their first seven-seater. Seven-seaters are all the rage here, aren't they? It is the VF9, but look, there's an asterisk. Exclusions apply. No details about what that is, but you know what? There's no such thing as a free lunch, is there? I have just spotted this Genesis GV70, which has been revised, but I didn't know I was here. I had to look twice because the changes to the outside aren't noticeable immediately. It's just some tweaks to the headlights. The grille is slightly changed along with the air intakes. However, in here, as you can see, it has changed quite a lot. Namely, this lovely horizontal 27-inch OLED screen, which I think looks absolutely lovely. Other changes, the mood lighting. Genesis love a bit of mood lighting, don't they? And we've actually got more options in here in the new version. And also some slight changes to the steering wheel. It's got enhanced stitching on it. It's a very nice steering wheel. What else to tell you? Oh yeah, now we suspect, we don't know this yet, that it will get a larger battery. So current models have 77 kilowatt hours, and we suspect it's going to get the 84 kilowatt hour, which has already gone into the Kia EV6 and the Ioniq 5. Should give a range of, 283 to 85 miles. Other than that, Nicola will be very happy. It's still got all the crystals going on down here, the crystal gear selector. She really loves that. And if you haven't already, do check out her long-term video review of the Genesis GV60. It's very funny. This might feature. It's a nice interior, isn't it? They do interiors really well. Every time I get in a Genesis, I think this is what Mercedes should be doing now. They could really learn a lesson or two from them. And we're going to be driving this really soon. So if you aren't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and switch your notifications on. So over here at Hyundai, it's this car that's getting loads of attention, as you can see. So this is the Ioniq 9. It's the rival, of course, to the Kia EV9, 6 or 7 seats. It's a big car, big in size, big in space, big in tech, and it has a really big battery, 110.3 kilowatt hours, the largest battery Hyundai will have put into an electric vehicle. Should offer a driving range of around 385 miles. Now we have a full walk around video of this car with all the details here on the YouTube channel, so make sure you check that out. It's also over at electrifying.com. But I've managed to get an early drive in a prototype. I took it out to Hyundai's proving ground in the Mojave Desert for a drive. Let's take a look. Hello and welcome to a wild and windy Mojave Desert in California. Now this is home to Hyundai's top secret proving ground, where they put all their future models through their paces. And I'm here today to drive this, the 7-seat Hyundai Ioniq 9. And just like the surroundings, it is vast. Now you might have noticed it's a little bit disguised in here. It's to keep everything secret. Like the camouflage on the outside. Although confusingly, we've already seen this car both inside and out, so we know exactly what it looks like, and it's good. Here is a little nice curved screen. It's got all the driver info and the infotainment system. It's got a nice blend of touchscreens and physical buttons. You get the impression. I do like the fact it's very easy to get a good driving position. You've got loads of range in both the seat and the steering wheel, and the seats are really comfy. That was one of the things that I noticed when I sat in it in the studio. And now behind the wheel, yeah, they are. They're really comfy. This headrest's comfy too. I also like the fact that visibility is very good. It's a bit weird in here. Some of the windows are covered, but good visibility all the way to that third row seats at the back was one of the things that I noticed when I sat in the car in the studio. You do get a really nice view of the road around you. So look, this is very much a family SUV, and that is reflected in how it drives. I've just listened to a presentation about the car from one of the engineers who explained what they were going for in terms of driving characteristics, and it was full of words like smooth and quiet and predictable and balanced. I guess, let's face it, you don't want any shocks in a 3-row, 7-seat car that will be used for carrying your kids around, do you? And I have to say, they've delivered in all of those aspirations. It is all of those things. It does exactly what you need for a big family car. Even here on this track, it's very smooth. It's got that lovely rakish aerodynamic shape that you can see clearly in the other video, and that helps it really slip through the air easily. Now, being electric, of course, it feels nippy, you expect that. But for a heavy car, it feels surprisingly light. It's got really good off-the-line acceleration with no lag. And it's got loads of punch mid-range as well, which helps with overtaking. 50 to 75 miles per hour. Takes in the long-range all-wheel drive just 4.1 seconds, which is pretty good. And that drops to just 3.4 seconds in the performance model. So you've definitely got really good power right throughout the range. And it does, you know, you really do feel that. There's no body roll. Look, I'm not exactly managing to chuck it around too much on here, but you're not going to do that with this car, are you? It's a family car. It's got a very nice weight balance. It feels nice and steady. That's thanks to the multi-link suspension that it's got both at the front and the back. It's also got self-balancing dampers as well, which really help to keep the ride nice and smooth. So if you're going into corners, you've got very little body roll. You do feel that this is a large car. Now, Hyundai hasn't confirmed its weight, but like its rivals, I imagine it's going to top 2.5 tons. And I think you can feel a little bit of that weight when you turn in on the corner, where it does feel like the heavier SUV that it is. However, from what I can tell so far, which isn't much if I'm honest, I've only been in it a few minutes, now they've given a lot of thought to noise, vibration, all that stuff. Again, it's stuff that you don't want in a family car. Now, I will say that on here, it's really windy here in the desert today. On here, it's actually very nice and quiet and refined. At faster speeds on the circuit that I've just been on, we weren't going that fast, to be honest, because we're limited to speed. There was a lot more wind noise creeping in. And I guess that we're in prototype vehicles, give it the benefit of the doubt for now, but you certainly don't want that at high speeds. I've just caught up with the engineer actually just to have a chat about the soundproofing. So I don't know if you can hear now, we're in the middle of the Mojave Desert, it's completely open. It's really windy today and it does feel very silent in here. So they've done a few different things. You've got foam in the tyres, so they're noise reducing, quite common on cars now. You've got acoustic glass that reduces external noise as well. And then they've done a lot of work to stiffen the doors, stiffen them here at the front around the A-pillar, and that gives them a rigidity, which at speed keeps the door really flush and then stops any of that annoying wind noise creeping in over the top. I was a bit more aware of wind noise on the track, and I asked him about that, and he said, look, because of these prototype cars, they haven't got everything in. There's also something really clever fitted in some of the higher spec models. They get noise cancelling, you know, like the stuff you get in that. So, you know, you can go on a plane and you can just tap on the bottom of those and it cancels out all that horrible external noise. It's exactly the same thing in here. It's monitoring the vibrations from the wheel and cancelling it out before it even gets to your ears. It's really impressive stuff, and it does, I've got to say, give this a nice, calm, serene feeling when you're driving it. Yeah, I like it. Makes me want to drive the production version. I have found my perfect vehicle. How cool is this? This is the Kia Weekender concept. Not content with building loads of electric cars that are massive hits, cars like our Electrifying.com Car of the Year, the EV3, Kia is now entering the electric van market with the PV range of vans. They've shown 3 concepts so far, and the first will be the PV5, and it's what this is based on. So it's a concept at this stage, but it will give you a really good idea of what to expect. So it does some really clever stuff. So every PV will come with something called Easy Swap technology. So what this means is that the front cab will stay the same, but you'll be able to swap out the rear section, which will be modular for different kinds of vehicles. So if you need a van for work, you can have a van to put all your tools and all your stuff in. If then at the weekends you need extra rows of seats to take the family around in, you can have it swapped out and have seats in the back. And want to go away for a weekend, don't fancy staying in a hotel? How about a camper van? It's very cool, isn't it? The only challenge is that you are apparently going to have to go into your local Kia dealer in order for them to do that, because it's quite a complicated system. So I'm not sure how practical it's going to be in reality, but I do love the idea of it. The Weekender concept has been produced by Kia's Advanced Design Studios here in California.
It's definitely been a labor of love. So this vehicle is based on the PV5 family that we actually introduced at CES. We had a hailing PV5 and we had a delivery PV5, mainly actually towards service. And immediately the question came up, what if we actually would make it an adventure van out of it, right? And as an adventure van, it has to be really cleverly solved, because the one thing is being asked, dream big, but travel smart. So what we actually wanted to do is that you have the convenience of a relatively compact van, but when it opens, it has more open surfaces than closed surfaces to actually offer you a lot of interior cabin space.
It's really smart. So just talk me through some of the, the elements on it, because it's packed with so much interesting stuff.
So as we're sitting here, you notice we don't have a B-pillar. And this is intentional because when you open the front door, in conjunction with the sliding door, we really want to frame the environment. And that also, you see what I have here in the back, this is something we call actually the tray lounger. So this is not the seat that you would sit in if you drive it. The passenger seat is actually what you see behind you. It's actually that table that actually then slides back on a rail and folds flat and becomes the table for the seating arrangement in the back. That gives us an opportunity to take these cushions that are stored in the walls in our rail system and really create a change of perspective and create the first industry tray lounger. So the idea here is that when you actually are stationary, you suddenly can lounge, you can enjoy the mountain view, the beach, or even have some entertainment going on. I mean, the whole platform for us is called PBV, and that stands for Platform Beyond Vehicle. This vehicle is one of the showcases what you can do based on a modular platform, and that's the main approach about this vehicle here. So you will realize in the interior, primarily we have all of these rail slots. And that actually serves two purposes. So one, it's our functional backbone. One of the pain points we discovered in our research going out to the desert, to the mountain range, is that significant time is actually spent in setting up your adventure. So a lot of people actually have these rail systems in their garages, organizing their gear as they should. So what we said is, if we integrate it into our vehicles, it suddenly becomes a plug-and-play solution. And actually we're giving time back to the customer to actually spend it where he wants or she wants, out adventuring rather than setting up for the adventure.
Fantastic. So are we likely to see something like this when the PV models start to arrive down the line in 2026?
Well, it's too early for me to say anything at this point, but obviously for me as a designer, I wish it to happen. But we currently have to evaluate, obviously, the business case and all adjacent to actually make it real. So yeah, it's going to be interesting times, and very much I hope that we actually can pull it off. When we pick a project, we really put our heart in, and I think it shows.
This is nice, isn't it? So this is Hyundai's Initium, I think I'm saying that right, concept car. So Hyundai, of course, is one of several manufacturers that are not just focusing on electric power, they're also looking at fuel cell power as well. And this gives us a clue to what the next Hyundai Nexo might look like. So it's got updated powertrain. It's going to have a 201 brake horsepower electric motor. They're targeting an overall driving range of over 400 miles. I mean, I do think it looks absolutely brilliant. If the Nexo looks anything like this, it's going to be a winner. The only challenge, of course, that we've got in the UK is that the last time I counted, there were only 3 hydrogen filling stations for the whole of the country. So, might not be that practical. here at Stellantis, they have electrified a legend. This is the all-electric Dodge Challenger. Doesn't it look nice? It retains its title as the world's fastest and most powerful muscle car. Thanks to 670 brake horsepower, it will go from 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds. And Manos, behind the camera, dragged me over here to look at it because this is his star of the show. Isn't that right, Manos?
Oh yeah.
He's nodding.
So what was your star of the show? What did we miss? Do let us know in the comments below.
It's the cleanest car in Los Angeles, that. That man's been doing that all day. Right then, from this quick fire look at the LA show, it's time to say goodbye. If you aren't already, please do subscribe to the channel and switch your notifications on because we will be driving this baby soon, along with all the other cars that we've seen here today. Thanks for watching. Bye.